Welcome back, everyone, to Total Nonstop Impact Talk for Impact fans, right here on the YouTube and on the Twitch. And Bill, this ain't Thursday. What day is this?
This is Monday.
It's Monday. It is.
Or you could say Motor City Monday.
Oh, Motor City Monday. Get that trending, folks. That's right. So if this honestly, I was just saying this to Bill before, right before we went live. Oh, look at the hoodie! Look at the hoodie! Gotta love it! Gotta love it. Honestly, if this was anyone else, we probably would have waited till Thursday to talk about this. Thrown it in with the news then, but This is about a tag team that's very special to the company. They've reached what I would say legendary status in the company, iconic status. They've done about everything they could possibly do. They're certainly in the latter half of their career. But they're on top of the world right now, Bill.
And then no doubt about it. I know right before we went live, I posted David Penzer's final call in TNA, the main event, the Motor City Machine Guns versus Zack Sabre and Josh Alexander at Final Resolution last year. And obviously you had both champions at the time, World and X Division champion. Like, what a run these guys had, kind of like on the way out. Although I think it obviously we both know these are future Hall of Famers in TNA, so I have a feeling we'll see them again at some point. But it definitely seems like, at least for now, it's goodbye for now. But see you down the road, as we like to say.
Oh yeah. So the news came out over the last 24 hours or so. You could say it was from PW Insider. I got this off of WrestleZone. They always say what source it came from inside the article. Basically, the Motor City Machine Guns, Sabin and Shelley, worked the Philadelphia tapings on Saturday. And it was this Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson notes that it was their last planned appearance for the promotion. Per Johnson, TNA sources have indicated that the Machine Guns are done with the company for now. And their potential return depends on whether they sign elsewhere and or wish to come back. They've been so loyal to this brand, and they've done stuff at other places. Like they went to Ring of Honor for a while. I'd have to look up and see exactly what the timeline was.
Yeah, no, there was a time frame where they were a good couple of years in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Ring of Honor and or New Japan, I believe. So it's and they've been all over the place. They've traveled the world, but they've always felt like they were TNA OGs.
Oh yeah, they were put together in TNA. They were singles guys that got formed as a team in TNA, so they are kind of always TNA guys through and through. And that's just one thing with TNA returning. Obviously, that's been one of the hiccups, if you will. The things that maybe haven't been perfect since the rebrand is obviously now with them possibly leaving. It seems like definitely for sure for a bit. Like you got people that are heart and soul of TNA once again. Obviously they've left before, but as you're rebranding, like it's great that EY's there and King Kazarian. But a team like the Machine Guns was always great to have as part of the roster because you identify them as TNA.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, one of my favorite stories from the last few years is the story about Alex Shelley becoming world champ. It just that's one of the most, I don't know how to describe it other than it just felt like a natural thing to happen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, it was due. It was due. Just like Chris Sabin with the 10-time X Division title reign, because
yeah,
he is the X Division title. So it was very fitting, both of those storylines we had last year.
yeah. Yeah, and to be there for part of it was great. And as we're talking about this, folks, make sure you sound off in the chat. You know, if you got some favorite Motor City Machine Gun moments, you know, put them in the chat. You know, a favorite match or something. You know, let us know. So then, alongside of that, there comes the speculation part. The speculation. Some people like to speculate. Some people are like, "Nah, I ain't touching that. We'll just see what happens." But for discussion's sake, because I kind of feel like we know our audience, um, and it's already it's they actually in the chat here they actually beat us to it. Few people. Um, any first of all, how was the discussion at the Philadelphia tapings? Was there, you know, were people talking about it? What did you see there?
You know what? It's interesting you say, J-Bone. It really, among the fans, didn't seem like it was really a hot topic. Obviously, they were a featured match on Saturday, tagging together, which was an advertised match. So people were looking forward to that. I guess I don't think a lot of people really saw it as. I think a lot of people thought they were going through rebellion. I think up until these Philly tapings, because remember there was the big deal made about a week ago that Shelley and Sabin were at a show in Canada the day after Rebellion. So they were going to miss the TV tapings, and everybody was jumping with that story. So it went from they were going to be missing the tapings after Rebellion to they were done after Philadelphia. So I don't know how, I don't know if people knew a lot of that going into it, into the Philly tapings, because it seemed like most of all these stories leaked out after the Philly tapings on Saturday. But then obviously it seemed pretty much confirmed the following day by many on the TNA roster, kind of singling out the Machine Guns, like hashtag MCMG. Like a lot of them, like posting photos and like not saying specifically what's going on, but kind of hinting at something. So that was confirmation for me that, okay, like things can always change, but it looks like they're at least looking at their options right now.
You get
a story of them being free agents. Like, they probably do not have any booked appearances with TNA going forward. Could that change? Right. Obviously it could, but that did seem to confirm it. Yeah. So that's what I go on. So now it will kind of be after, like, the next tapings, which are obviously in Las Vegas because they did a month of TV. Like, that's where I think you'll really see a difference probably. But once again, like, that's just maybe a new mindset in the roster because, like I said, you really couldn't tell. Like, a lot of times if there is something big happening or over the long time, the long history of TNA, you could tell if there was kind of a mood or a thought going on.
Okay.
It seemed like normal, like business as usual.
Okay. Gotcha. And like I said, kind of kicking this off, you know, these guys they've been with the company for just sort of 20 years. So
Well, off and on, off and on.
off and on, off and on.
Saban
As
a
far as
little
their
longer than Shelley, but yes, off and on.
right, Shelley went off and did a couple other things. He's had his own business practice he was doing. But as far as like, um, being a part of TNA, that goes back almost 20.
Oh yeah,
20
but yeah, you go all the way back to the beginning.
So being that this team, whether together or apart, are in, like I said, the second part of their career. I've heard a couple things, like you see people saying this, that, and the other thing. Uh, nothing certainly official out there by any means, like, oh, this is what the word is on the streets. But I see some people saying, oh, well, I think they'd be a good fit in AEW. There's also, there's one thing I was thinking maybe they'll come to NXT. To now, for me personally, I think they're well beyond NXT. You're a 20-year veteran. You don't belong in NXT. That's just me. Now you could argue that and say, well, Dolph Ziggler was NXT champion. Yeah, well, okay, they didn't have nothing to do with him, so whatever. As some people would say that, oh yeah, I think there's a tag team left in this tag team tournament that's coming up for WrestleMania for this ladder match. Maybe maybe they'll be a part of that. Are you hearing anything, Bill? Have you seen any like speculation out there you want to like hone in on?
Well, first, let me get to with Justin's comment here. Shelley said in an interview that he didn't really want to be full-time, but he signed the 1-year deal last year to be full-time. My guess is that they're going to slow down some on the shows. I could see that because that was a thing. Like, I know, like, Shelley never really, he didn't want to do contracts, but he did for this last year. So it's kind of like the huge story about everything with them because he really wasn't a contract guy. He didn't want to have that commitment. But I know with that whole tag team match with WWE, like I know Bully Ray is kind of hinting him and Devon are available for that as well. So I know a lot of tag teams out there are kind of using that as a way to kind of say, and we do know this. There's a pretty good relationship with TNA and WWE right now based on what we just saw with Jordan Grace at the Royal Rumble. So would it shock me to have them do something there? I think obviously with guys like Borash, Abyss, a lot of those people working NXT brand, but also WWE, Petey Williams, like I'm sure that they could find some room for them to do something if they wanted to have like their moment there in some way. Is that probably, is AEW probably more realistic? Like because they have worked there, although obviously Shelley did NXT stuff. So like I obviously the Bucks are tight with them and they have a lot of sway. So I could see them coming in for a program. And just like Justin was saying, if they wanted to work a couple programs, a couple dream matches, and then kind of be done with it on their own terms, I could see that happening too. I could see them doing some more New Japan, although I'm sure TNA would have been fine with that. I could see them even wanting to do that. So we'll see. Like, I don't think the NXT thing's out of play. I think that could be something. Like if they showed up at the big NXT show during Mania week, stand and deliver, like I think that get a pretty good reaction. And because I think you got to remember, I think Shelley almost enjoys training even more than wrestling. Like he likes putting the new up and coming talent out there. I think
Yeah.
I think Saban too. Like he's been aging and stuff. I could see both of them liking something like that where they're the veterans that kind of put over some others.
As far as giving back to the business, oh yeah, I 1,000% agree on that
So I
one.
could see
Yeah,
them maybe even doing both. I could see them
yeah,
doing a couple AEW because that here's the thing. I think we all know what AEW, and it's not really a criticism, but if they were to go there, they'd have a feud or two, a program or two with teams, and then they'd probably go to Ring of Honor. Like they'd kind of not be in the headlines anymore for them. You
right.
kind of go there, they promote you for a bit, and then you get forgotten.
Yeah,
So for them, if they could just do a couple programs and leave, sort of do what Cardona did, like to show up there for like 2 or 3 weeks, be featured, and then just never come back. That might not be a bad thing. And then maybe even do some NXT work. Maybe do both.
hey, I think they're at the point of their career. They could certainly do that.
Because like
Um,
we know them well. A lot of independent wrestling fans know them well. But it would be nice for more mainstream fans to know them.
well,
And some
yeah,
of them, like we saw when AJ showed
like
up
they
at the
deserve to know them.
people do know them. Like people knew who AJ was. People acted like they didn't know who AJ was. But when he showed up at the Rumble, a lot of people did know who he was. There's always this thing. Do the casual wrestling fans know a lot of these wrestlers? And that would just be even more to show. Oh, here's
Yeah.
David Penzer right now, the legend in the chat.
Hey, good evening, David.
Shelly used to do a training in-ring session with anyone who wanted to in the afternoon of every Impact show. So, yeah, like I just seeing Alex Shelley on both Indies and TNA, like that seems to be what he really does love is the training aspect, the teaching aspect. So I could definitely see him getting more involved in that for sure, especially if one of the bigger companies do have that role for him along with wrestling. I could see that being of a lot of interest. And then I know like Justin's here's talking about the trademarks. So that could get them wherever they want, really. Smart thing to do.
That's interesting. I didn't hear about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think they did the initials and obviously Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah. Yeah. But Jesse Clarkson here says you do have to question if Motor City Machine Guns leaving is due to D'Amore being gone. If someone EY leaves, then it's because of D'Amore. But I hope TNA gets back on track at some point. I don't really think D'Amore is part of the conversation, with the exception that now this is just me speculating. Okay, this is just me speculating. Maybe D'Amore leaving was just part of a conversation starter.
Yeah, like it's definitely something you got to look at. Like if your contract happens to be coming up, that would be something like I don't think someone was just going to be like, "Well, I'm leaving, rip up my contract because of it."
Yeah.
But when a contract becomes due, obviously, if he was more in your corner or compared to maybe someone not being there now, that could be a big part of it. Or it could also obviously be that always happens if you're more behind one person versus another. I could definitely see that. So I wouldn't say it's a non-factor. I think it's definitely a part of the conversation, but I wouldn't say it's the direct result.
Right. Yeah. It could have been something that fueled some conversation between the two. Like, okay, well, maybe they just reevaluated where they're at in their career, given their contract circumstances too. So, yeah, there certainly are options out there for them.
Oh yeah, I think any company would love to have them, just like TNA
absolutely.
did.
I mean, and it's not like, yeah, the last few years they've been off a little bit. They've been screwing up a lot in the ring, botchamania. No, man, these
Oh,
guys
no, they
are
can still go.
still
They look just as good, if not better, than they have over the years. And I think part of it's
right.
obviously the health of like Chris Sabin is fully healthy. He had obviously
Yeah,
multiple injuries that kept him down for a couple of years. But seeing them now, like, yeah, they're still at the top of their game.
right.
So yeah, then that's not an issue. But I think there is part of it for sure. Like Shelley's been very vocal about contracts and not wanting them at all. I'm sure. Like I just don't know if they want to be locked into a deal. Like I'm sure if they sign a contract, it would probably have to be to a schedule they're okay with. And as you get to these bigger companies, they might not be as agreeable to those situations. I think TNA was probably more agreeable to whatever schedule they kind of wanted to work, I would think. Now, that's something that also changed. I could see that being a reason for them leaving. If they didn't have the
Yeah,
flexibility maybe they once had. Oh, yeah, and I didn't want to say because I know David did say this on social media, but I'm glad
yeah,
that he put it up here. David Penzer saying, again, people were leaving money on the table to stay in Impact out of their respect for Scott. No more time to go cash in, truth. And I do believe that. Like, that's obviously coming right from the man right there. So just like something else, like if you're like I know I see it on indie promotions all the time, like someone's willing to do, hey, I'm doing the friend discount here. Or I'm just doing a favor. Like you're almost not even taking money. You're just trying to help people out. And I'm sure
yeah,
there was that, like people taking less than they could get other places because they wanted to, they believed in Scott. And some of
right.
them probably believed in TNA or Impact but obviously Scott was the guy running it. So if you're choosing, that's kind of who you were choosing. So there definitely is truth to that. So
Yeah,
now with contracts coming up, that is going to be probably more serious consideration to look at offers.
yeah,
And hey, if you come back and match it, fantastic. But that whole I'm not even going to look, I know I could get more type thing. Hey, I did that in my own job. I'm sure a lot of other people did in their own life. Like if you're
yeah,
happy where you're at, you're like, I know I could do better, but maybe I won't because you're loyal or you liked people. But now that when these type of things happen, at least when they're fresh like this, like remember, we're still very fresh to this. We're talking still within we're talking more like now we're getting into months, but not even that many. Like we're talking like still weeks almost since this has happened. So
yeah,
this is still pretty fresh.
yeah,
But that's a very valid point there. So thanks for bringing that to the table, David.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that just puts the period on it even more.
Just like hey,
Um,
I'm glad that J Bone likes us here at TNI because he could just go for the big bucks at those big podcasts, but he just
oh yeah,
hangs around with
you
us just
know,
for
it-
fun.
it's ringing my bell all the time. No, no, no. I love what I do here on TNI, and I love being on Saturday afternoons with the Ramblers, and that's about maxed out there for the Bone Man. Um, but yeah, man, it's I just being where we're at on this podcast and really watching, it's like, there's casual, and I'm not saying that we're better fans. Please don't take it as that. But we're honed in on certain things a little more than say the casual fan. So you've really been watching, say like Alex Shelley's journey, like I was just saying earlier, or Chris Sabin becoming that 10-time X Division champion, or their tag team run over the last few years against some of the best tag teams out there. It's been so fun to watch, and I love tag team wrestling. So I tell you, there's going to be some big shoes to fill on this roster, and not that they're going to look for the next Saban and Shelley because they're really, two of a kind, honestly. I mean, yeah, there's other veterans out there, but um, now you ain't going to find another Saban and Shelley out there.
No, that's a long time here. Like really, and they were kind of doing the angle a while back in the X division, like Ace Austin, like he's almost like a young Saban. But once again, that's you got to add another 15 years to that at this point,
right?
So,
right.
But once again, like that's the longevity, the constant being able to work as both singles and tags. And obviously you had stuff like Paparazzi Productions. Like they were able to go. You had Steamy Saban in the Wrestle House. Like some of our best bites are Chris Sabin bites.
Oh, yeah.
The guy's fantastic. Give the man a mic. Come on.
That is not an appropriate question.
Yeah, that's yeah, some of those are just rich. Yeah, the classic Wrestle House stuff. They really and that was one of those things where you look at guys like EY, Eric Young, who's literally done.
Oh yeah, he's done it all.
Thing in the company you could including die on camera for. Saban practically has been that as well. He came into the company, and if you look at old pictures of Saban compared to what he looks like now, you don't even recognize the two. Completely different body build, but as far as talent-wise, always had the talent. But he's gone from singles runs to tag teams, some real serious stuff. Being the world champ to, a little more goofy stuff within the last few years here and there. It's just well-rounded,
Yeah. And I remember being in Vegas and just seeing Saban when he was just working backstage. He wasn't even wrestling yet. Like he had come back just to do some like agenting for like production stuff. And he wasn't even
that's right.
on screen. He was just hanging. But then obviously he did the comeback, and then Shelley came over and he kind of had everything, which was great to see. But yeah, well, what can happen over a couple of years? Like we had already kind of been like that the era of the machine guns in Impact at the time was over. But yeah, we got another long run, which was fantastic.
Mayor busy giving me spoilers on Raw, which I only watched like the first half hour tonight. Thanks, Mayor. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Cody's going to the hospital. All right. Thanks. Thanks, Mayor. Such a goof. Oh yeah. So yeah, I don't know if there was anything you wanted to add to that, but it was it felt like it was right to come on here and give Motor City Machine Guns some love,
Oh yeah, no, future Hall of Famers. Like so they will be back for the TNA Hall of Fame someday. Probably sooner rather than later. But no, I think we all wish them the best. We obviously very much enjoyed their time here. Would love to see them again here at some point. But hey, I'll never argue with anyone. Like David Penzer said it. Hey, if you're leaving something on the table, you can go get it. By all means, go get it. But we'll always cheer for both Chris and Alex wherever they're going, wherever they're doing. I'm sure they'll still be like. I think the thing is though, because of their nature, I think they still want to be on because Alex works so many indies and stuff. I feel like if there's a company that takes him off the indies, that's going to be tough for him, especially as we're talking about his training and all that. So we'll see. I think they're going to find a schedule that works for them, but definitely looking out. Here's Justin Miller here. Good tip. check the app out. A lot of stuff has been added recently. A lot more than the old app, obviously, with a lot of Motor City Machine Gun material. It'd be nice if I don't know if they already have it, but it'd be great if they, when stuff becomes more official, like usually they'll hint at that more, maybe put up a whole collection, which they will. Obviously, the social media team is great. Old Garrett there. If somebody shows up on another show, all of a sudden the whole timeline is old TNA footage.
Oh, by the way, remember when they showed up in TNA? Yeah. Yeah, the last thing I saw was they're starting to add old DVDs to TNA Plus, which is great because there's plenty of old DVDs that I've never even seen that I would love to see,
like the bloodiest matches and all that stuff, or
Oh,
like even the specials, like the Jeff Jarrett multi-disc set, Kurt Angle multi-disc set.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what Justin said.
They've done stuff on tag teams over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the X Division one. I'm just thinking of the DVDs I have.
I know Trent's got a bunch too.
Although they're not, I don't think they're doing the physical media just like everybody else. Like I'd like the shows anymore. I don't think the merch stand, like David Penzer, would always be giving out DVDs during the show. Like T-shirts and DVDs. They don't give out DVDs anymore. I don't think they really bring DVDs to the shows anymore.
I think they have maybe a few on the
like
table,
maybe the up-to-date
that's
pay-per-view, like maybe the most recent pay-per-view, like they'll bring, but I think that's about it.
Yeah.
And there's some in the Don West brown bag specials. Oh, here's you know what? There's Ash.
Hey,
and I know Ash just want to say hello and bye, but I know Ash is a very big, at least Alex Shelley fan, if not both.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd love to know her thoughts on this. I love to know her
when
thoughts.
we
like
went live, her ears must have been ringing.
Yeah. Where she wants to see him go or wind up.
Yeah, sound off in the chat, Ash. What do you see for the future for these guys?
The hand gesture. Where is it?
Point to I just point to whatever.
You got to point to the right place.
Yeah. Hop.
You know what, Ash? I'll send you the link. Yeah, hop on. I'll give you the link. I can find it real quick. I'm gonna have Ash jump on. Give us some thoughts on this. We're an interactive show here, the TNI show.
Sure. Okay. All right, folks, we're getting a guest on here, I guess. There we go.
All right. It is. I sent it via the face botch, as J-Bo would say.
Ah, the old face botch. So while we're waiting for Ash to hop in here, I think we should probably clear up some other stuff that's been floating around there.
Ooh.
A name that's not necessarily tied to the Motor City Machine Guns, but just in the same conversation lately. Killer Kelly.
Oh yes. I feel I feel a little bit bad for because normally I do give like Mike Johnson out of all the dirt sheets. I'm like normally they're pretty good, but they're the ones that botch that. But it sounded like they took what someone said and misinterpreted the words because she is taking like a break from TNA for it. Like she's not going to be on, but they took that as meaning she was leaving the company, which she's not because she signed through next year. So that's just more you won't see her for a bit. But yeah, that was some bad timing for that.
Right. Yeah, and she's from what overseas in Portugal, right?
Portugal, yes.
So I'm guessing it's just family stuff, you know?
Well, there's a lot of stuff. Well, obviously there's that. I know there was some different health stuff, like with her, like what was it, the deviated septum she had that was holding her back for a bit. But then she's also going to be doing that movie that was just really announced. Did you hear about that news, J-Bone?
No.
Did we talk about that the other day on our news? Her and Matthew Raywald.
Oh yeah, you touched on it briefly.
Yeah,
but
real brief.
So
that could also be part of it to some extent, but whatever the reason, she will be back.
And it's perfect for stuff like TNA tapings, because you can do a set of tapings and then be on set for like a few weeks.
Well, yeah, like you look at, they just did Philly, right? That's a month. So really, the roster has no commitment to show up for a month right now. So that's plenty of time.
Unless they're going to Mania weekend in a couple weeks for like what's it called?
Well, they're doing no shows. There's no official TNA show during Mania week.
No, I just meant
some of the talent is on shows. So yeah, somebody like Masha is on Bloodsport. Mike Bailey's probably gonna have like 15 matches. So it'll still be a busy week for a lot of the TNA roster for sure.
Yeah.
Even if they're not on TV. But that's why there'll be plenty of TV during this time. So like the Thursday of, which probably, I think I told you I will not be around for, because I'll be at the WrestleCon Super Show on that Thursday night before Mania. But I'll be on the week after Mania. But I'll probably go on live. I'll jump on the phone at some point.
There you go.
You're like, hey.
I'll
have to leave that in your capable hands.
I haven't. Oh boy. Okay. And I haven't really heard about a lot of shows being advertised now with like Fight TV. They used to put out like a whole package deal.
They did. Well, obviously, what you have is, and I'm not sure where my guess is through Fight TV, but I'm not 100% sure. I know like there's the Collective, which is like GCW and partner companies with them. That's where Bloodsport is. Like they have a package where you can buy all their shows together. I think the WrestleCon Super Show is on the Title Match Network, I think, because that's part of High Spots. So there's that. But yeah, I'm going to a bunch of shows, so I haven't really been paying that much attention to how to actually watch the shows.
Okay.
But an interesting thing that I'm also doing during Mania week, for the Ring of Honor fans, their original venue, the first ever Ring of Honor show, was at the Murphy Rec Center in Philadelphia. Combat Zone Wrestling, CZW, is going to do a show at the Murphy Rec Center on, I think it's Sunday, Mania Day 2, at like early in the day, at like 1 o'clock, noon or 1 o'clock. So I'm going to go to that. Yeah, I'm going to go to that before Mania. So old school, because I don't think any wrestling companies run the Murphy Rec Center in at least 10 or 15 years.
Oh wow.
So, history in the city of brotherly love.
Yeah. Oh, lots of history.
You gotta love it.
Well, especially when you got, stuff like classic ECW, and that just,
Well, and that's obviously gonna be a theme pretty heavy during that week. Battleground Wrestling is doing a big, like, kind of ECW tribute show on Friday night before Mania against SmackDown. But like, that's where you're gonna have a lot of the names, other than Tommy Dreamer, because Tommy Dreamer specifically told me he does not do ECW reunion shows. And I give him kudos. He took a stand on it. I get it.
Well,
he's moved past it.
It's understandable. It kind of, I suppose it depends on what they want him to do. Yeah. If it's just an appearance, if it's just show up, do some autographs and photos, he's in the latter part of his career too. He doesn't want to go through 1,500 more tables.
Here we go. You got a guess.
He's not up for that. I heard the boop. Let's bring her in. It's Ash. What's up? Long time no see. How you been?
I'm good. Can you hear me? We good?
Yep. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was.
I'm good. I'm as good as I can be. I've been
There
busy.
you go.
But yeah. So how's everyone doing? As far as with the news, how's the chat going?
The chat's going okay. Like I think
chat's good.
People were getting used to it almost, I think, because this news was kind of out there for maybe like a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, where we all thought because when they weren't announced for post-Rebellion TV, everyone's like, oh, their contract's running out, all that. But now it seems like Philadelphia happened, and now it's just they're done. They're not. Yeah. We're not going to be seeing them again. So that seems to be a little more sudden than I think a lot of us foresaw, even though it's the difference of a couple weeks, really. But obviously, seeing you in the chat, and I know obviously a big Alex Shelley fan, but as well as the Machine Guns. So definitely getting your thoughts on maybe where you'd like to see them end up, or just maybe some thoughts on just their general run in TNA.
Wait, you like Alex Shelley?
I had no idea. Wow. Get out of here. For real?
I mean, I've never seen you post anything on social media.
I've never talked about that man. Ever. Never met him. I've never talked about that man. I don't even. Who is that? Who is that man? I know who Chris Sabin is, but
yeah, everybody knows Chris Sabin is.
Yeah. I wish I could say I was surprised with the news. I've been dealing with a lot like the past few days. Because wrestling fans are wrestling fans. But as far as the most current run of the Guns, I would probably say that this is probably the most solid and best run that they've had in quite some time. Because if we go back and think, like, before, one would get injured and one would not be injured, and then it was very on and off with TNA at the time. And then you would go to, like, the Ring of Honor, and then, you would go to their Ring of Honor run, and then you would go to, like, their New Japan run, and then they would split up separately. So I think together that this one was probably one of the best runs. Will it be the last? I don't know. I can't personally tell you. However, I hope not, as far as with TNA. But we have to be realistic in the aspect of all of our ages. But I do hope to see them back. I think maybe one day we'll see them return. Will it be next month, another year? Probably not. As far as where I would like to see them end up, I personally can't answer for them, but I'm hoping for a very solid indie run going into Japan and the UK and Canada, particularly major indies. Like maybe we could see them back at AAW. Definitely Revolver. We can get both of them. Just something along the lines, because the independent factor of pro wrestling has changed with the ability to be able to see more independent pro wrestling.
Yeah.
NXT, WWE, that's always an option I would love to see for both of them, because I would love to see what Chris could do there. We've already seen Shelley there at least once in 2019. But like I said, if they feel like that they, could do, way more now, especially with the access of independent wrestling, how we can see it on different platforms, whether it be High Spots, YouTube, even Twitch. I think some people put their shows on there.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's got a paywall, Pivot Share. indie TV, I think the possibilities are a little bit more open, broader, and endless. Did I make sense on that?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think
No,
definitely like AJ was showing before he went to WWE with New Japan and the Indies that you can do very well. The Young Bucks were doing it for years. And obviously Matt Cardona right now is pretty much saying, I can just do Indies and make all the money he needs to and get his name out there pretty much as he needs to without a major promotion behind him. So that is an option. And for somebody like Alex, especially Alex, who seems to really want to not commit to contracts usually, like this was a very rare occurrence.
Well,
this contract was last year.
As far as contracts, it really does. Like I said, I can't speak for anyone, but as far as like, if we're talking about business and any type of business, whether it be entertainment, pro wrestling, hell, even, if we were to take contracted jobs at a standard, 9 to 5, it's one of those things that you have to really read because everyone is so descriptive in their contracts. I mean, you could experience like a complete, like, not saying that people do this, but you can experience a complete like Fugazi fucking type contract, It was like, we've seen it happen over the years.
Yeah.
It's nothing new to us.
Yeah,
So
I can't imagine them wanting a contract that would restrict them.
Yeah. No, it's understandable to me. So, I mean, I could understand that aspect of it. But other than that, how's everyone at TNI? It's good to see everyone. A long time no see. Hi, Courtney. J-Bone, how are you? I love your setup back there. I love the shelves.
Oh, thanks.
Very well organized.
Oh yeah, he's got the new Bone Studio, the Bone Layer.
It's the bone.
I love
yard.
it. I dig it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little unorganized. It's always a work in progress, but it's probably the best it's looked in a while. I'm always moving stuff around, like, okay, I want to put these guys over here and these guys over here, and just for display purposes. To the left of me looks a hell of a lot worse. It's just a massive amounts of AEW figs just all over the place. But thank you. I appreciate the compliment. It's fun. It's what I've wanted for a long time. It's a long time coming.
What have I been up to? I've been working. I am in Distortion Media. I do have a higher position now. So I am digital media executive there. So I did
and where?
At Distortion Media. We we switched from the wrestling movement to Distortion Media. So we're now all media.
Okay.
That's what I do now. I was filling in to do TNA interviews for a bit, and that's going to change. So I want to let y'all know that. There's still going to be interviews for TNA, though, on there, along with other interviews, too. We're also doing music interviews. And
I know you had some recent TNA interviews. Just, you want to say a couple of the names that people can go check out?
Yeah. I had AJ Francis on. I had...
Nice.
I also talked to Ash as well. Ash by Aliens. Very lovely.
Ash.
Yeah, very lovely woman, So
I saw part of that interview. That was a nice one. Good job on that.
Yeah, very, very lovely woman. If y'all ever get a chance to meet her, do so. Very sweet. And then, of course, I have my music interviews. And if a lot of y'all didn't know, I am doing more stuff with my affiliates and sponsors when it comes to makeup. So I'm doing more of that now. So I do have my own channel with that outside of pro wrestling. So it's makeup, and I talk about punk music and the history of certain bands. So that's what I'm doing now. So I'm already used to being on camera without makeup. So I was like, I'll pop on. I don't care. Before I used to get like quick and dress now, but here we are. As far as the guns, I do know that I'm reading the comments too at the same time. So if you see me looking like this, I promise, I'm just checking everyone out. Some independent dates have already been announced. We've got, I know there's, what's it called? Lucha Zoom, I think. Sanctuary in Detroit is having a show too. Of course, Revolver. And I think was it DPW?
Oh,
And,
Deadlock Pro Wrestling?
Yeah, DPW and the fuck's that other one? Hog.
Oh, yeah, House of Glory. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Duke Togo in the chat. What is up, man?
Well, be
Lucha
interested to see.
Underground.
It'll be interesting to see if the Guns do appear on any, at least an indie show, if not a bigger show during Mania week. That'll be interesting if they wind up showing, because there's a House of Glory Revolver show. I could see possibly them showing up there. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Definitely keep an eye out, because they definitely do have some indies lined up. So check them out if you can. But it'll be interesting to see if that gets booked out further, if you start seeing some more indie dates going into maybe May.
Yeah, no, the one for Lucha, oh God, what the hell is it? Lucha Room? Lucha Zoo? What the hell? I gotta look that up.
Is it the one in California?
I think so. I don't know. I wish I knew. That one's in May. That one's all right. So the May dates are already coming out.
The May date's already coming. Okay, so that's a good sign for indies.
To let y'all know, to stop any type of rumors that I saw in a lot of chats. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, Duke.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that's the one in That's the one in LA I was thinking
thank
of.
You, Duke. I appreciate it. Yes, that one. That one I believe is in May. So the May dates are already coming out. I can't say that I may or may not know, but there might be some new merchandise coming out. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Oh, maybe, some new merch.
Some new shirts or something instead of just the usual ones, you know.
So you see those new shirts and you're saying,
"Yep."
I mean, I may or may not know that there might be some new merch. So, yep. Yeah. I hope, if there is going to be new merch, that it's going to be pretty awesome. I hope. And if there is any, I will definitely keep everyone posted.
There you go.
Sounds good. So you got so it was only fitting. Well, we got the news about the Motor City Machine Guns. We got TNI here giving you our thoughts on it, and we got the return of Ash. Get her thoughts on it too. So it was a nice little news update. The quick hit.
Yeah.
Oh,
for us, a quick hit.
Sanctuary in Detroit does have a new Alex Shelley shirt. They do have one. You can actually buy that at Blind Dog Merch. It's a Detroit, Michigan, like a t-shirt place. So.
Oh.
There you go.
So he does have.
What did you say the name of the place is again? Blind Dog Merch.
I believe so. Let me check. Yeah.
It's a good name.
Okay.
And then we already know Shelley. Thank you, Justin. Will be wrestling on the Hog show.
Blind Dog Merch. Their printing service. So hopefully.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
And it has the flags of where he's been champion.
All right.
Oh, very
All
cool.
the belts. Very nice. And Eric there putting it bluntly. Good last minute. Thanks for the memories, Alex. And Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the memories.
There we go.
That's all.
Shall we wrap this? Shall we wrap this
let's
one?
Wrap it
then?
up, J-Bone.
All right. Well, we thank you everyone for joining us in the chat. Great discussion, great content. Thank you, Ash, for joining us.
Yeah,
And,
sorry last minute, but thank you for having me. I just wanted to say hi to everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
No, it was great. No, I was glad to see you in there. I know you were saying hi and bye, but it's like, oh, it's only fitting. We're talking about the machine. It's got to bring you on.
Bye. I mean, we're all moving on, doing our thing, so it's all good.
Yeah.
But I'll keep everyone posted if there is new merch coming out.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
And
Hey,
events,
absolutely.
I'll post as many indie events as I find out about. So.
Sounds good.
Sounds
And hey,
good. Sounds
if
good.
you didn't join us live, definitely comment But also hop into the Discord. The link's below, because you can obviously keep the conversation going 24 hours a day in the Discord. There's always somebody lurking around there that will probably engage with you. So feel free to let us know your thoughts on the Motor City Machine Guns, what they've done in TNA, and what their future looks like.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Share some classic moments. That's some of the most fun stuff you could do. There you go. Armand doing it in the chat. There you go. Nice. Oh, actually, he's sharing stuff that he'd like to see. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. You can go either way.
I mean, it's a good solid run since the return in Slammiversary. Like, there's a lot of great memories. Like a time.
Oh yeah.
For the time period of what the world was going through, I think it was a good fit, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And
yeah.
It's all not forget Wrestle House.
Oh yeah.
I love Wrestle House.
Always love Wrestle House. Yeah. But between their singles accomplishments and as a tag team, one of a kind, you know, absolutely one of the best in the company and in the industry. You know, we're biased, but we know. So, but yeah, so thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Glad we could wrap this up in about an hour, about as long as I wanted to go with this, just given what it is, you know, and who it's about and everything. So yeah, on your way out, make sure you smash that like button, smash that sub button, ring that bell for notifications. Why? So that you know when more of our content hits your screen. Say goodnight, folks.